week's episode of Hunter x Hunter was a game of cat and mouse anime style. This week's episode was also a setup for all of the crazy battles which are getting ready to take place. But even though this was a setup episode, there were a lot of memorable moments, some of which that come to mind. We got to see more of Meruem the Chimera Ant King's powers. We got to see a short but very sweet battle scene between Killua and Pouf. And even at the end of the episode, we were teased when Gon and Pitou actually arrived at the place where Kite is. Is Pitou actually going to follow through and heal Kite? I don't see this happening at all. In fact, I see Pitou grabbing the nearest beer bottle, smashing it on a bar stool, and getting ready to fight with Gon. Shit's about to pop off with them, and frankly, I cannot wait to see that. But the thing that I think made this week's episode was how tense it was, because there's this sort of race going on between the Chimera Ant King, who's trying to make his way to the palace to regain his memories, and then there is Pouf, who is using his clones to try and find Komugi and erase her from existence, because if Meruem finds her, he's going to regain all of his memories, he's going to start to become more human again, and he's going to lose all of his resolve to want to take over the entire world. Pouf will not let this happen. In fact, he'll even go up against Killua in his lightning-based powers just to make this not happen. So, great episode in some senses, but it was a little slow in some parts. But there were a lot of really cool things. First and foremost, Meruem got some brand new powers last week. He was absorbing the bodies of Pouf and Youpi, and he was displaying that by sprouting wings out of his back. And he has another ability this week. When he learns about the APR fairy, he tries to take it out with Youpi's Rage Blast. And what's really cool here is when Youpi was using that ability, his entire body would explode. But the Chimera Ant King is actually able to channel that into one arm and shoot it like a frickin' beam from Dragon Ball Z. It's not enough that the dude already looked like Frieza and Cell, now he's literally blowing mountains away just like them. And it's pretty awesome. The thing about this, though, is how is anybody going to be able to fight against this guy at this point? With Netero dead, I don't see any of our main cast members being able to take the king on. I mean, the only characters I can really see even having, like, a chance at this point might be Killua's father and his grandfather, but there's going to obviously be some sort of twist. That would be awesome if they showed up again, because I think Killua's dad is badass. He's like a character straight out of an 80s manga. But another thing that I really liked about this episode, and I was thinking about it a little bit as I was watching it, I noticed that the Chimera Ant King is mostly using a lot of Youpi's abilities. He doesn't really seem to be using anything from Pouf. And I'm not really sure what that would involve. I mean, is he going to gain his ability to play violin, be really androgynous, and just make little clones of himself? I haven't really seen him doing that yet, but Pouf this week, he is a man on a mission. He is desperate to kill Komugi, and he'll even go up against Killua to make that happen. And the fight scene between them this week was very brief, but it was really cool, especially when Killua activated this brand new ability where he created this lightning ring around himself and Komugi to protect her. And when Pouf, like, ran right into this, a huge chunk of his face was burned away by the electricity. And for the most part, this is the end of the battle. I mean, there's just a lot of really cool poses from Killua surrounded by lightning and everything. But Pouf actually realizes that the Gungi game is still in the castle somewhere, and the Chimera Ant King has actually just arrived. And if he sees this, he's going to regain his memories back, and he's not going to be the killer Chimera Ant King he's supposed to be. So Pouf decides to divide himself up into clones even more and go after that. And then again, at the end of the episode, there's that nice little scene with Gon and Pitou, which, let's face it, that's definitely leading to their fight scene. So this week's episode was pretty good, so let me just give you the rundown. The animation and the artwork was very good this week. It was very clean and consistent throughout. Whenever there was an action scene with Pouf and Killua, it looked really good. Whenever the Chimera Ant King was using his big blast ability, the way his arm, like, metamorphosized into that weird freaky form looked really, really cool. And all of the voice acting was really good. All of the facial expressions from the character, especially from Pouf, are incredibly expressive and just make it work so well for this series. And, of course, there were a lot of other characters who had some standout scenes this week. Palm and Knuckle, Melioron, who they're desperately searching for. And at the end of the episode, when the Chimera Ant King actually arrives, just the tension in the air is just palpable. It's ridiculous. You could cut it with a knife. So I liked this episode. I wish that it would have moved a little bit more in the first half. The second half of the episode definitely had a lot more going on. The first half was basically just seeing the Chimera Ant King fly to the palace and Pouf trying to figure out what the hell he's going to do. It's definitely above average, though. I still think you should check it out. Just a good episode this week. Nothing too mind-blowing, but what was there was really entertaining. And really, it's just going to be all about the upcoming battles, which I can't imagine where they're going. I really can't predict too much. The only ones I see going on right now are Gon and Pito, but I don't know who's going to take on the Chimera Ant King yet, and I'm really anxious to see how that's going to play out. So I cannot wait to see the rest of the coming episodes. So check this one out, guys. Pretty damned exciting. If you guys had a chance to check out this week's episode of Hunter x Hunter, I would love to hear your thoughts about it, and you can tell me with your comments below. What do you think is going to happen between Gon and Pito? Is she actually going to heal Kite, or are they just going to end up beating the crap out of each other? And will the Chimera Ant King actually figure out what Pouf is doing? You can tell me with your comments below. Remember, guys, before you leave, make sure and hit that like button so you can give this video a thumbs up. It's really easy to do, and it helps us out a lot. And you can subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, so you can see all of our latest anime and manga reviews. You can also check us out on Facebook, on Twitter. I'll put links to both of those in the description box below. So, I'll see you next time, guys. Super Kami Guru 9000. Out.